We'd like to welcome everyone to our Monday edition of the Love Journey. This is James Gilmore, your co-host with Brother Emir Otto. We have as our special guest this day Allyn Sims from Sacramento, California. I met Brother Sims about a year and a half ago. We accompanied each other to an expo in San Rafael, about a couple hours away, and we've been associates since then. I've had several wonderful shaman sessions with him as a client, and we've conducted a couple of workshops together. How do I bring my authentic self to the practices I'm doing, such as the practices can have the real effect and results that they're designed for? How to connect my real self with those practices?
The first step is to recognize that we are living a false life through a false self. To recognize the surface that we stay with, to recognize that we don't really go into the depth that we could. My teachers were always on us when we'd come back and we'd report our latest experiences from our work. They would point out what they needed to point out, and they always said, "Great, it's time to go even deeper." Because everything in existence has these layers, and we keep unraveling the self, and we keep discovering more and more aspects of the self, the more we really focus on who we actually are. So we want to have this two-pronged approach where we're looking for the parts of us where we feel hurting, where we feel our pain, whether it be an emotional pain, some existential sense of loss or of not belonging or whatever the experience is, to go into that with a real, bona fide, legitimate sense of a drive to really encounter what is real within us. Because we know that our emotional disquiet isn't what's real within us. What's real within us is that stillness and that silence. So we need to approach our inner turmoil, however big or however little it is at that moment. We need to approach it from that stillness and that silence. So when we're at our ritual space, when we're at our altar, or even figuratively at our altar, if we don't have a physical altar in the house, when we're in our space where we do our work, approach even our space from that place of, to go indigenous on you for a moment, where we stand naked, where we stand revealed. We need to enter into our spiritual practice from that revealed place where we are saying, here I am. Here are all my foibles, all my weaknesses, all my pains, all my sufferings. I lay them bare. Here are all my joys, my jubilations, my bliss, my stillness, my silence. I lay them bare. We need to really open the self to the self if we're going to do this next level of spiritual devotion. We cannot afford to continue to do spiritual practice from the mind.
Wow.
We have to step up. We have to, all of our spiritual practice, we have to lay bare the soul. we are evolving our spiritual practice. It's time. We've done all the mental stuff with the New Age and New Thought. It's time to up the ante and go into the next stage where we're working at the soul level. That's why shamanism is becoming such a major player on the scene in the public eye, because it's time for soul-level work to return to the people.
Well, listen, wow, this is great. This is great. When you said you were going to talk about divine love, when we spoke, I said, okay, divine love. I didn't have a clue where you were going to go with this. I knew it was not going to be traditional, and it's absolutely exquisite. So we're going to open up for about 5 or 10 minutes. Questions. Keep the questions short, and then if it's okay with you, Brother Allyn, after we've entertained some questions and you've told people how to get in touch with you, your website, your phone number if they want a personal consultation, then I would love for us to end the call with 5 or 10 minute meditation or whatever you're guided to direct us to get in touch with what you're saying, to clear ourselves such as we can open ourselves up to go deeper. So right now, those who have some questions, is that you, Janine? Yes.
Yeah. Before you open the line, I want to break down some things that I think may have went over some people's head. Because, we have a mixture of people on our line. We have some New Thought, some traditional, and we have a mixture of people who don't even go to church and haven't had any real spiritual practice. So some people don't know what karmic that is. Some people don't know what Akashic records are. And I want to just kind of break that down a little bit in terms of, if I was on this line and I was listening and I didn't know any of that, you would have went over my head. So I know when we, in certain levels of understanding, our vernacular is there where a lot of people don't understand. So I just want to get in what is an Akashic record, what is karmic debt, and then transference of that. Forgiveness really is about self. It's never really about anybody else. And I wanted him to talk a little bit more about that before we
Okay, very good. You got it, Goddess.
Thank you. Allyn, good morning. I think you are really, I tell you, now I listen to a lot of people, and I've been in a lot of places and done a lot of things. I think this is one of the most major components that people do not really understand, because we do intellectualize. Even in the, I don't care if you're traditional, we intellectualize the Bible, we intellectualize New Thought, we intellectualize metaphysics. And so to hear you speak today was just to run chills down my spine, because you're so right. We are not connected in our bodies anymore. We're so disconnected, even our healers. I listen to healers. I was just telling somebody the other night, I said, I was listening to a healer, and she sounded like she was in so much pain. I was like, wow. You could hear her pain from healing other people. And it's because we're not actually understanding the connection to the world. So I just want you to explain what Akashic records, karmic debt, and also in what that means for those who may not understand that. It's just really energy when we're clearing karmic debt up.
Okay, so we know that we tend to, when we experience the idea that someone has wronged us, there's a part of us that holds on to that sense of being wrong. And we tend to kind of hold that person in the way we relate to them. We interact with that person, and we constantly kind of go over in our minds and go over in our emotions that this person has wronged us. And we memorize the wrong, and we go over that interaction in detail, and we add details over time to where that person has done something really horrendous. So that's our personality's version of these Akashic records. So when we look at, I'm not all that familiar with a lot of the modern stuff, but there's this idea that the sins of the father are passed on to the children. But sins are just mistakes. So what that is talking about is there's a record of all of our interactions with everyone. And so being able, legitimate spiritual practice helps us to clean up those interactions so that it's no longer hanging out in our energy, these negative interactions. So it's no longer hanging out in the bigger picture of the vaster energy of the self. And it's no longer hanging out in the energy of the environment and the universe. We're cleaning up our energy footprint.
Great job. You did a great job.
Thank you.
So when you say that we intellectualizing these practices, you're saying that we basically too heavy and not in our heart. Would you agree?
Yes, and it's more than that. We're not in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the heart isn't deep enough. We need to be fully in the body and doing these practices. And usually there's so much emotional turmoil, we can't get into the body. We can only get into our head. We're still floating somewhere out like balloon people. You know, we're tethered to the body. We need to really do the spiritual work to get comfortable in our own skin.
Okay, I'm going to ask this last question. Can you tell them how to connect to their bodies? And then I'm going to turn it back over to James. I just wanted to make sure people knew who the Akashic Records and Karmic Debt was.
As part of your spiritual practice, if you would massage your feet and talk to your feet. Talk to your feet and say things like, I thank you to walking me around. I thank you for getting me places. And even if your health with your feet, maybe you're not able to walk due to an injury or something like that, or you can't walk as well, or maybe you're a veteran and you don't have your own feet anymore. Still, work with gratitude toward all the parts of your body, not only the surface parts, but thank your bones. Be thankful for yourselves, because every aspect of you is listening, and they haven't been hearing how thankful you are. So genuine gratitude toward your body and all the parts for all the work that your body does every day. Legitimate gratitude. And touching your body and thanking it for its good work. That's one of the simplest practices I can share.
All right. Thank you so much, James. I'm turning it back over to you. I just wanted to clarify that for some people because we have different levels. Thank you, James. You are doing an excellent job, excellent questions. You did a phenomenal job this morning, you and Allyn both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Goddess. So we're going to entertain one or two. Can you hear me, Brother Allyn?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to entertain one or two questions, and caller who comes on, if you can just get right into your question without any other comments, that'll help us to respect the time. And after one or two questions, then if you grace us with a meditation or a process or whatever, Brother Allyn, then we'll end our call with that. But after the, matter of fact, before we bring the questioner on, one or two questioners on, will you tell us how to get in touch with you, your website, what you have available to our callers that they can take advantage of to assist them with actualizing what you've been sharing this morning?
You can contact me at www.shamanpaths.com. That's shamanpaths.com. And we have a meetup page that you can access through shamanpaths.com. We also have the Facebook page that can be accessed through the website shamanpaths.com. I'm constantly teaching classes and sharing these older indigenous teachings. And I do see clients on a fairly regular basis.
Are these clients distant clients at times?
Yes. A lot of them are either phone appointment or we have a phone appointment, and then later on I do the energy work. So, for instance, I have a 6-month-old boy whose mother had a lot of karma preventing her from getting pregnant. We cleared enough of that karma. She now has a 6-month-old boy. He's developed some difficulty sleeping. So obviously she doesn't bring him to me, and I work with him in the office. I work with him after hours and in clearing the body karma that is preventing him from sleeping. And he's up to 1.5 to 2 hours a night in these increments. So whereas prior he was only sleeping maybe 15, 20 minutes, then he'd wake up and then they could get him calmed down. So we're making progress. So a lot of my clients are like that. They call, discuss what they want done, and then usually their time frame, because some of them are in different parts of the world, when they're sleeping, I do the work so that they can wake up, do their meditation, get a sense of what's taken place. Then they can call me and give me a report, and we go from there.
Okay, fabulous. Shaman Pass, that's pass with the S, correct?
Yes.
ShamanPass.com, and they can discover your Facebook page on that website. And you said meetup page. What do you mean by a meetup page?
There's a website called meetup.com, and that's where you can schedule your meetups, list the venue that the meetup's going to be, and people can RSVP right there on the website. And so it's proven to be a very useful source for getting our movement moving.
How often do you have these meetup events?
I have ongoing classes Monday evenings and Thursday evenings, and then we just did our solstice celebration and potluck, where I revealed some of the indigenous thoughts behind this time of year and shared with people some of the rites and initiations that take place this time of year during indigenous celebrations.
Right. I noticed that when I came to your booth last Sunday before last at the Healing Arts, there was announcing something about a month or 2 or 3 month training course that's going to happen next year. Is that something that you're doing through the meetup process, or people have to be there physically?
This will have to be done physically, and I've looked at what people seem to really need in terms of a training, and so I've pulled together a lot of the core practices and teachings together for helping people to heal and learn to be healers. And the first level of that is starting the second weekend in January, and that's the Soul Evolution Healing System. So we will.
How long is that course? How long is that course going to be?
That's a 6-month course. We meet for 3 days, Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, once a month for 6 months.
Okay, well, I was thinking about moving to my chapter, Ashland, and now I have to choose whether to move here or stay down there with you in Sacramento or go to that course, or maybe I live in both places, and I'll just come down there and spend the week, 1 weekend a month in Sacramento. So anyway, thank you for that opportunity. That sounds very wonderful training to build on what we've been doing this past year. So what we're going to do now is have 1 or 2 questions from the audience. I'm sure between Janine's questions and my questions, we've covered a lot, but someone probably have a question that they are just biting at the bits to ask you. And after 1 or 2 questions, if you'll then end our call with a meditation or whatever process you want to take us through, Brother Allyn.
Okay.
So right now, we want to just entertain one or two questions, and then we'll be graced by Brother Allyn Sims ending the call with a group meditation, activation, clearing, whatever he's guided to do.
We got a text question.
Okay, what's that, Goddess?
People are not going deep enough into those practices. They're just doing part of those practices. I think the question is, how do you get into the whole of those practices? Or any practice to do deeper forgiveness work?
All of the practices we must begin approaching with an acknowledgement, an appreciation, and a love for our deepest pain. Whatever's really bothering us, we need to come forward and disclose that pain so that whatever practice we're doing can get through to that pain. Because if we're doing these practices and we're blocking the practices because we're afraid of the pain of what's bothering us, because so often, you take a wounded animal, you're doing a practice to help the wounded animal. The wounded animal is afraid and it's in pain and it tries to block you. Well, we're a wounded animal. So we're going to be doing these practices. Oh, I'm going to invoke this flame, and the flame's going to come in, and it's going to heal me. Well, if we're not acknowledging that we're in pain, and we're not acknowledging that we're afraid of the pain, and we're not acknowledging that we're building up these blocks, we're putting up a wall to spiritual practice, because some part of us knows that we're going to feel this pain because we know we have to feel it to heal it, but we're afraid to feel it. So we're doing these practices, but we're not letting the practices do the work. So we need to acknowledge our block. We need to appreciate that block is there, and we need to love that block. So that when we do the practice, we're approaching the practice, as I said earlier, we're approaching it bare. We're saying, here is my pain, here is my trouble. We need to get into it.
Mercy.
Yeah. So, how do we do that? Boy, again, it's really facing the pain of the self, legitimately. And there's going to be tears. And, healing is irrational, and healing is not always pretty. And we're not always pretty when we're healing, but we're not always pretty when we're expressing our pain. We're not always pretty when we're taking our pain out on someone else, because we notice that someone can see our pain, they can sense our pain, and we put up a shield and we hit them with a shield and say, don't look at my pain. Because we're blocking. We don't want people to know we're in pain because I'm on a spiritual path. So there's the encountering our spiritual arrogance and tearing that spiritual arrogance down and getting to where we have a spiritual legitimacy, where we recognize, hey, I'm just a being here, and I'm striving to be. I'm not striving to be spiritual and putting up this wall that says, I'm spiritual, you can't look at my pain. We need to say, I'm spiritual and I have had pain. I'm spiritual and I'm moving through pain. I'm spiritual and I'm looking for where I have been hurt so that I can bring healing to my hurts. Because then my presence becomes fortified with divine love. And I'm emanating divine love from those places that used to emanate pain. And then my presence, when my presence enters the room, it's that divine presence. It's a healed presence. And it's a healing presence because there are parts of me that are still healing. And so that momentum that I build up as part of my practice gets added to yours. And you are accelerated. And I am accelerated because of the mix of our devotion.
Woo, mercy. You feel that, Dr. Janine?
Like I said, that he is so strong. I'm like, wow, sending chills down my spine. Oh, I want to go, I
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We're a little bit over. What's the replay number for this call, Dr. Janine?
712-432-0990. 712-432-0990. And the access code is 772-719-772-719.
Okay, you there, Brother Allyn?
I'm ready.
Okay, Goddess Janine, if there's nothing else, we're going to let Brother Allyn continue to do his thing and finish the call up with whatever process Spirit has guided him to end the call with.
I'm complete.
So everyone on the call who's not star six yourself where you can hear, you're muted, so we won't have any background noise. So take it away, Brother Allyn. Thank you, my brother.
Oh, you're welcome. So I'm going to start with a divine love blessing. So what that means is I'm asking for the divine couple to send everyone listening, whether they're listening now or listening as a repeat, they will get a divine love blessing. So divine love is going to be inducted into your energy fields directly from the divine couple. That's the first part of what we're going to do. Then we're going to do a forgiveness practice. And during the forgiveness practice, you're going to be receiving a divine blessing for divine forgiveness, which is going to boost the practice, make it stronger, so that every time you do a forgiveness practice, this blessing will activate and boost your practice. So, and we will be clearing, we'll do a divine karma cleansing for everyone. Divine karma cleansings are very strong. They work with, divine cleansing works with several lifetimes and several iterations of lifetimes at once. So they're very strong. So here we go. Dear Divine, I request for each of us, all souls listening, all souls hearing, to receive a divine blessing now in this moment and in all moments. Divine blessing for divine love. Begin now. Divine couple, please continue this blessing. Dear divine couple, dear divine all souls and all listeners and all hearers, beloved ones, to all those to whom I have made mistakes with, to all those I have harmed, I acknowledge you, I appreciate you, and I love you. Please forgive me for all the mistakes, for all of the harm that I may have caused you in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. All of your ancestors and all of your descendants, please forgive me for any harm that me and my ancestors may have caused you in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. We love you, we appreciate you, and we acknowledge you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dear ones, beloved ones, all the souls, all the beings, all the ones that have harmed me, that have harmed my ancestors, any mistakes that you may have done against us. We acknowledge you. We appreciate you, and we love you. I and my ancestors forgive you for any mistakes you may have done against us, for any harm that you may have caused us in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. We love you, we appreciate you, and we acknowledge you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you. And together we say, and so it is. Ho. Dear divine couple, please continue the divine love blessing throughout the day, as needed and as appropriate. Dear divine couple, please continue blessing all listeners, all hearers, all souls with divine forgiveness practices, elevating and deepening all of our spiritual practices with the authenticity of the self, the legitimacy of the self, the freedom into, through, and as our authentic self. Beloved divine couple, divine souls, listeners and hearers, we love you, we love you, we love you, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. And so it is. Ho. And we are complete.
Thank you so much, Brother Allyn, for gracing us with your presence, your channeled service, and we invite listeners to check out Allyn's website, and maybe there may be some people that may want to fly in once a month to Sacramento to attend your 6-month training, so I'm going to give serious consideration to it myself. Sister Janine, you close us out, please.
I just want to say thank you so much, James. Thank you, Allyn. You have been most phenomenal, bringing in some powerful reminders of the truth of ourselves this morning. Thank you for that divine love message on forgiving and true, authentic practices. Thank you so much. I want to remind each and every one of you that your life is a gift from God. And what you do with your life is a gift back. Remember to choose divine love, because divine love really is the only choice. Remember to live and dream your God-sized dreams. Have a great, wonderful, amazing, phenomenal day, and I'll see you in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.